2022. I haven't seen it since then.
Okay, but let's not have a reunion today. Let's talk about what you want to talk about.
Okay, we can fire away.
Yeah, in Japan, you had Johnson, you're one of our sponsors. I mean, how did this deal come about, coach? Let's just start with a simple one. Yeah, I know it's quite a long time, yeah.
Yeah, we've been with Johnson for 2 seasons now. We extended the relationship by a year last year. Obviously, we're very happy. Fantastic company, involved in not just football, but in rugby, in golf, in cricket. A strong sports footprint, and you can see today with the players here, the kind of interaction, fans coming, wanting photographs, having a good vibe around the team. That's part and parcel of trying to perform at the level that we want to perform. And so having sponsors that we're responsible to, it's also very grounding. We won on Tuesday in the Nedbank Cup, and it meant a lot to us because in the league, kind of, we're looking to top 8 is like where we're going to be, hopefully. But the cup is something where we haven't been to a cup final for a few years, and everyone in the club is hungry to have a good cup run, and at the very least to have some big days in a quarters or semis or final, to give value to our sponsors like Johnson Workwear, because that's the time that they can look after their stakeholders, look after their staff, look after their clients by incorporating them into the success that we bring on the field, and we haven't had that for a while. So we feel that responsibility, and we're glad to be able to contribute to Johnson off the field of play when we're kind of under-delivering at the moment on the field of play. But off the field of play, we're still working hard to make sure that our sponsors are happy and that their stakeholders are happy. And yeah, we're just very blessed to have a great sponsor like Johnson work with.
I think just on the, obviously, tough starts in the first half of the season for you guys. Just on the business that you guys did in the transfer window, did you feel that it's probably adequate now for the coach going forward? You got the players in, especially on the attacking fronts with the strikers.
Yeah, I think it's obvious if you've scored 5 goals in 14 games and kept 7 clean sheets over that period, that we were underperforming at the business end of the pitch. So we're comfortable with the defence that we have at the moment. We feel that we've got a pretty good, stable defensive unit that can keep clean sheets and that have shown that they can keep clean sheets. I think Tucker's got now 6 clean sheets since he came into the team. That's important for us defensively to be solid. We've had a couple of bad games, like against Sekakuni and against Chiefs in the Cup. But other than that, I think we've been happy with our defensive structure. And up front, we've been blunt, and we needed to reinforce there. So I think that having Lebo Mabui come in with his creativity will add something and help us get a couple of goals. Enoch Kwaishe from Ghana, a very attacking winger, likes to go at people, got a good left peg, can swing in crosses, can take shots. So we're expecting some good things from him. And even more so Christian Saile, who's adapted to the South African League already. Enoch's coming from Togo. He doesn't know the landscape here in the PSL, but Christian knows the landscape well, and that's why I think you could see that on Tuesday he could slot in straight away and score a goal and be familiar, because he knows the stadiums, he knows the places, he knows the environment. We need Enoch still to settle, the way you see Eric, our centre-back, is starting to settle now. So we see a lot of good things within the team. As much as we've under-delivered so far in the season, we're very happy with the way some of our youngsters are performing. Both our left-backs, Apiwe and Neo, have been standout performers for us for the future. So we're excited about that. And yeah, now the boys have to turn it around and start scoring some goals and getting some points and getting us back into top 8 where we need to be. And it doesn't get easy. We've got Amazulu tomorrow night, and we've got Sundowns, and we've got Sekakuni away. So like a really tough fixture schedule. But that's the challenge that's in the PSL, and we have to rise to meet it. I think when Bradley comes back, to have Bradley and Nurkovic and Jukumanja and Lalake and Enoch and Christian Saili and Mabui. I think we should have enough really to muscle our way into the top 8.
Stan, you've been in football for some time. You've seen club owners come and go. Just your reflection of the state of South African football, and your advice to the young upcoming club owners to protect this.
I can't give any advice to other people. You saw a team like Magesi come through this year from the Motsepe Championship and blow away 3 established PSL giants to win a trophy. And I'm sitting here for 5 years and we haven't been to a cup final. So it's not for me to be dispensing advice, because in football every year you start from scratch. It doesn't matter what came before. You're starting again and you have to prove yourself again. I think the lesson that we've learned, so I can't speak for other people, but the lesson that we kind of learned, and we're learning it now in a hard way, because we've let a lot of players go over the past few seasons, but we're building a sustainable model within our football club. So, people will say, oh, Chandre, you let Chandre go too early. So, yes, from a traditional football point of view, we would love to have kept Chandre for another 2 or 3 seasons, and maybe he would have been even worth more money by then. But the acceleration that he's showing in Europe right now, he's just been called up from the second team to the main team of Bruges. The Bruges CEO actually called me this morning to tell me that Chandre has been promoted to the first team after 5 goals and 2 assists for the feeder team, and so now he's training full time with Bruges first team. And a player like Chandre in 2-3 years time could be worth 30, 40, 50 million euros. So our onward percentage sale on a Chandre, although we're not getting anything now and we're paying the price and it's tough, but in 2-3 years time our percentage sale could be worth literally dozens of millions of rands, which is great and sustainable for the club. Same thing now, we've got Ime Ocon. We've got 2 opportunities for Ime that have come in, and both big clubs. So yeah, I anticipate that in the next few days Ime will probably also be going abroad, and that probably tomorrow night will probably be his last game for the club, if everything goes according to plan. But there's another good young 20-year-old player with a lot of scope to improve, and we've seen in the short time that he was training overseas, now when he comes back, the authority, the crispness of his passing, the way that he's playing, that our players have a better chance of developing in a European environment where week in and week out they're playing with the best, against the best. Chandre's traveling across, he's probably been to 15 countries since he left South Africa 6 months ago, playing in the inter-European leagues. So that kind of exposure is the more that our youngsters can be in that environment early, then the more amazing they're going to be for Bafana for the future. And yes, it means swallowing a bitter pill now, because the youngster can be very important for us on the field of play, but we've got a good pipeline. We've got a lot of good young players that are coming through the club. You only have to look at our Disney Challenge team to see that we're coming again with a brand new team from the team that won 2 years ago. I think there's only 2 players that are the same from the DDC team that won a couple of years ago. And we're trying to build the club from the bottom up and be a club that stands for youth development, promotion of youth, and the best young players in the country should know that if they want to go to Europe and make their dreams come true, that there's no better club on the African continent for them to sign for than Supersport United. And sometimes we will sell too early and undersell and get it wrong, but we believe in our model. And the most important thing for us is to have this club sustainable. And you only have to look around the PSL at the moment to see that finances are tough. It's not an easy environment at football at the moment. There's a a lot of regulations, a lot of minimum requirements on clubs that involve spending and spending and spending, plus players, etc., etc. So rising costs, kind of steady income, those things need to be balanced, and the only way that you can do that is to make sure that you've got young players coming through your system that can be the bedrock of your team and build up slowly. And unfortunately, hopefully only one at a time, you're going to land up letting those players go, and we will get the rewards long term, but of course short term we also have to worry about performance, so we don't want to drop out of the top 8, and I think that's why you saw us be serious in this transfer window and bring in established players, not youngsters, but established players, and players that are experienced and can help get us into the top 8.
Just a last one from myself, coach. I mean, CEO, the drop off. I mean, as you spoke now, that the last time the club won was the trophy was in 2018, I think. 2019, yes, against Sekokune.
No.
Sorry, Highlands Park.
Against Highlands Park. To Bochum Mokoena, crossed 4. Bradley Kobler.
Okay, yeah. And then, you want to go further on that? You want to do something? Okay. The reason why I'm asking that is, why do you think the drop-off has been? Is because you've been selling something like you talk about Mokoena, look at
No. I mean, you can say that, and 100% for sure. We would be a much better team if we still had Maseko and Mokoena and and Ronwin, and of course we would have loved to have done that. But when players move into a salary bracket that's way beyond where we are, we as a club, number one, we don't want to hold players back. So if when Ronwin came after 18 years in the football club and said, this is kind of the money I can get elsewhere, what do you want us to do? Say no when we can't pay that guy anywhere close to that kind of money? Same with Maseko, who was a young kid that came from us, 15 years old. His first salary was very small. He had risen through the ranks, and suddenly big telephone numbers on the table for him. So to have a miserable player upset with you because you never gave him his move. Tashrik Morris came at the age of 31 and said, Kaiser Chiefs want me, and this is what they've offered me, and I couldn't offer him half of what they offered me. So should I have a miserable Tashrik who resents the fact that he's somewhere because he could have been earning more than double elsewhere?
You pick him on the street in a way,
so
essentially.
He was out of contract, so you look at the situation and say, okay, how can I benefit the club? How can I benefit the team? So here's a 31-year-old who I signed on a short-term contract, okay, and we've got other number 9s like Nurkovic and Bradley. So, but I don't have something like Saili that can go behind, who can get behind the fence, who can break the line, who's got that added pace, which Nurkovic and Bradley do not have. So for me, I've got to be practical. Now, Morris, Bradley and Nurkovic together, all three, none of them had pace. So I've still got 2 9s, and now I've got someone who can go. Enoch is a player who will run at people all the time. So we've got someone who can be direct, like Chandra was a direct player. Enoch's come in, he's also left-footed, he likes to come in off the right or the left. So we're trying to add to the team to make us a little bit more dynamic, a little bit more exciting. 5 goals in 14 games is not good enough for any team anywhere. Cape Town Spurs got relegated last year and they scored more than 5 goals in their first 14 games. So it's important for us to get goals while keeping a solid defensive structure. And we had already reinforced the team. We've brought the young and the Ndebele boy through that you saw on Tuesday, competing strongly with Bilal Beloy for that left-sided centre-back spot. 2 youngsters. Bilal's maybe 22 years old and Ndebele 20, 21. So again, 2 left-sided, great left-sided centre-backs there, and we've got another one in DDC who's also a great left-sided centre-back. We've got the 2 left-backs, Apiwe and Nao, very, very good. Right-back, we're struggling. We're looking for a younger right-back to come in and give Mobby a little bit of a challenge. He's kind of on his own in that position. In the midfield, Corporate Pools done quite nicely. Keenan Ayres is young. and Glovu's in his mid-20s, Markham when he comes back next season in his mid-20s. So as much as we're struggling now, the nucleus of the team and what we're building, and if you add Saili and Enoch and Lungu's only 27, Siviwe, young Magadidi, not many people talk about him. If Magadidi was playing for Chiefs, Pirates or Sundowns, he'd be in Bafana now. But he's playing for Supersport, so I'll have to sell him to one of them before he gets to Bafana. That's what's going to have to happen. But another good youngster, another good 20-year-old who's got a future in the game. So we feel we've got really nice youngsters within the setup. Young Tabang Mashlangu's in Spain right now training. Tabang Makubo's in Spain training. So with the Spanish club, with the Spanish club, Huesca. Yeah. And so we're looking for opportunities to give the young kids a chance to go and establish themselves in European markets. The training and development compensation, the solidarity fees, the transfer fees, everything in euros is so much more appealing than in rands. And that's kind of the funding model that we're going to be looking for, in addition to our great sponsors like Johnson Workwear, like ACDC. We're blessed to have good sponsors, and Umbro. We want to make our sponsors proud. We want to build the team, but we also want to sustain the football club. So this is the model that we feel is the right way for us to go, to keep bringing good youngsters through the club, give the very cream of the crop an opportunity to go to Europe, and then the other ones who aren't ready yet or need a little bit more time, or maybe not the level at Europe, but can be fantastic PSL players, like young Apiwe Baiti, who we found in a talent search contest, and he's kicked on and shown that he can be a really good solid PSL player, and he's 23 years old. So we've got good things happening at the club. We need to show some grit and fight for the balance of the season to try and ensure that we keep our place in the top 8 while we're rebuilding. And then we've got a good platform to move into next season with, and hopefully a cup final between now and then.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.